Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Julia Mann. That was easy to say. I'm also known as the Habit Fixer, and I actually show people how they can live healthy, happy, sustainable lives by changing their habits and using cutting-edge products to help them age well. And this morning, I'm so happy because I'm joined by the lovely Laurie Webb. And if Laurie Webb.
Weber, right. But it doesn't matter.
Weber, it's Weber.
And that's another whole story, but yes, it is, but it's fine.
Laurie Weber.
Laurie.
Laurie Weber, it's so good to see you. Now, if you don't know Laurie Weber, she runs the Mindful Eating Clinic. And I know today you're going to be talking about breaking unhealthy eating habits, aren't you? Fantastic.
Yes.
So I'm going to hand straight over to you.
Wow, great. Yes, well, thank you. Indeed. So I run the Mindful Eating Clinic, which is all about helping people have a happier life with food. And for many of us, that means trying to eat in a more helpful way, in a more healthy way, to not overeat. And a lot of that, as with all behavior that we want to try and change, it's all about habit, isn't it? And habit breaking. So I just thought in this little bijou conversation with the lovely Julie, that I just talk a little bit about how you can break some of those habits that are not helpful for you, maybe things that you don't want to eat quite so much of, or you're trying to watch your weight, but it just seems to be really difficult, and that's a whole other story. But so the one thing I would say is to stand back from the habit, not beat yourself up about it. It's something that's happening, and it will be happening for any number of reasons. It could be messages coming from your past history, you know, somebody saying to you, oh, you have to clear your plate, that kind of thing when you were little. Whatever it is, it's about standing back and saying, right, what are the circumstances around this particular habit that I want to break? An example, sitting down after dinner in the chair that you always sit in, glass of wine, chocolate is quite a common one. That is a habit. That is a behavior chain that has been created. And every time you do something, your brain remembers it. And your brain then your subconscious mind, the minute your bottom sits on that chair, it goes, oh, I know what we do now. I want to give you things that are really nice, that keep you nice and safe and make you feel really, really happy. What we do now is we have a glass of wine and we have some chocolate, don't we? So what you need to do is to say, okay, so what's driving this? It's the circumstance, it's the situation. Could I perhaps sit somewhere different? Could I have a different post-dinner routine? Could I add something instead? So rather than be saying, I'm going to run away from this behavior, often what works is to use what we call in NLP, towards motivation. Right, after dinner, particularly in the summer, and the lights, you know, we're recording this when the clocks have gone forward, I've got a bit more time. What can I do? So you're going to fill that post-dinner space with something different, which means that you're more likely to break that immediate behavior chain. And now you're thinking, yeah, but I'm still going to come in and sit on the sofa at some point, aren't I? Yes, you are. But is there something else you can do with your hands? That's not supposed to create any kind of laughter at your end of this recording, but maybe you could write an old-fashioned letter to someone. Maybe you could give yourselves a manicure or a pedicure, men and women. We all need to look after our nails. Maybe you could read something instead. Maybe you could just change, just get your wire cutters out and break that chain of behavior which is leading to that particular unhelpful, unhealthy eating habit. And you can look at other habits and say, is it because I'm getting in the car and my brain says, oh, you've got a long journey home? What we do is we go to the garage and we get a can of Coke and we get a packet of crisps because that's what we've always done. Well, doesn't mean you have to. And the minute you start doing any of these behaviors differently, then it gets filed away and your subconscious remembers, and then you're far less likely to get these triggers. Could be the people that you're with. Maybe it's part of that whole sociable thing. And maybe you don't want to do it to quite an extent as you have before. Maybe you need to be assertive. Perhaps it's about saying, you know, I'd really love to have dessert with you, but I am really, really full. So it could be situation, could be a behavior chain, could be something that you've always done that's prompting it, but it doesn't mean you can't do something different instead.
Oh my goodness, that's a mic drop moment. I love what you've said, Laurie. I think that actually, you know, I certainly was brought up to finish everything on my plate. And you know, we always had dessert, and it was always wait and see pudding, which was always ice cream, you know. I think it's really great to look at it in the way that you've suggested. I know that habit stacking is a really useful thing, and I guess some of those things that you talked about, can they maybe be pre-stacked, i.e., you know, having that, you know, the nail file by the settee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Planning it. So having an intention, setting an intention for yourself. So actually you could turn it around and say, yeah, I'm going to put myself first here, because maybe sitting in front of the TV and having wine and chocolate feels like the right thing to do, but is it really looking after yourself? Is it really putting yourself first? Whereas in fact, there might be something else that if you just sat back and you thought, what would I really like to be doing? Just do it. Don't think about it too much. Just do it. Or as you say, set it up, have the book there, or go and sit somewhere else. Have it all kind of, you know, ready and the lights on, and when you're eating your dinner, mindfully, of course, you're thinking about the fact that you're going to go and do this thing afterwards, or you're going to go and sit outside for half an hour to let your dinner go down. Something positive, something for you.
Brilliant, brilliant. And like you mentioned before, not beating yourself up about it.
No.
Yeah, fabulous. I love it. So for those of you that are really gripped by what Laurie said, then please check out her links, which will be below, as will mine. And, you know, get in touch, send her a question, you know, find out what she does. She's a mind of information. So thank you so much, Laurie. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, Julie.
And thank you everyone else for watching.